Hey guys! So I recently realized that it has been over 2 years since I started my tretinoin journey for acne, so I figured it was time for an update, a 2-year progress update to share with you how my skin's been doing, my updated skincare routine, just a general acne update. So that's what this video is all about. I am going to add this to my acne journey playlist, which I'll link below, and you can check that out if you want to catch up on past videos that I've done in this series, where I also shared a bit more of my history with acne, a little bit more backstory there. I'm not going to get into all of that today. One big update since my 1-year tretinoin video, I am now back on spironolactone. So basically this whole journey started back in April 2021. That is when I first went on tretinoin. I've been on the tretinoin cream 0.05% since then, and at that time my dermatologist also put me on 50 milligrams of spironolactone. So I'll put some photos up on the screen from before I started both of those prescriptions. That was kind of what my skin was looking like at baseline. Within the first 3 months of both tretinoin and spironolactone, my acne completely cleared up. If you saw my spironolactone video from a couple of years ago, I was really happy with the results, but unfortunately I ended up going off of it because I started having some pain in my kidney, my right kidney, and I thought it was because of the spironolactone. Long story short, I'm not going to get into all of it, but long story short, I later figured out that it wasn't the spironolactone that was causing the kidney pain. It was caused by taking too high a dose of vitamin D3. I was still really interested to see how my skin would respond to just tretinoin on its own. I was curious to see if that would keep my acne under control by itself anyway. So for the next over a year, I was just using tretinoin cream for acne. That was the only acne treatment I was on. And I did find that my acne didn't completely come back in full force. And if you saw my 1-year tretinoin update, my skin was looking pretty good at that time, but I was still getting the occasional breakout. It wasn't completely clear like it was when I was also on spironolactone. And I was finding that about half the time my skin was perfectly clear, it looked great, and then the other half the time I would sort of have these on and off breakouts that were kind of getting on my nerves. So that is what prompted me to ask my doctor if I could try spironolactone again, and this time we tried it at a lower dose. So like I said at the beginning, the first time around I was on 50 milligrams. This time we tried 25 milligrams, and so that's what I've been taking since November 2022, and this is where we are now. So today I'm not wearing any foundation. I am wearing a little bit of under eye concealer, but no other coverage products on the rest of my face. The only other makeup I have on is some brow pomade and some lip gloss. So really just wanted you to be able to see what my skin looks like now. And today I'm having a really good skin day. I don't have any active breakouts right now. I did have a pimple here like a couple weeks ago. You can see it's still healing. I usually get like a post-acne mark that will fade over time, but this is where we are. You can see, I do still have a little bit of acne scarring here, but for the most part, my skin has been pretty clear. I do feel like the 25 milligrams spironolactone has been helping. So I do still get the occasional breakout, but it's better than it was when I was just on Tret alone with no Spiro, and it's definitely better than it was before I started this whole acne journey in 2021. So I do feel like the 25 milligrams of spironolactone, even though that is a very low dose, I think that's a lower dose than most people would even start on for acne. I think 50 milligrams is usually where they start you out. And I actually am planning on asking my doctor to increase my dosage next time I go, because I would like to go back to having basically 0 breakouts like I was before. And actually the main reason I want to increase my dose is not even for acne reasons at all, but for hair reasons. When I was on the 50 milligrams spironolactone, I had explosive hair growth. Like so many baby hairs started popping up, and at that time I didn't even realize how much hair I had missing to begin with. But if you didn't know, I do have PCOS, which for me manifests a lot with acne and hair loss, I've noticed. And especially over the last couple of years, I feel like my hair has gotten even thinner than it was before. So that's actually the main reason I want to go back on the 50 milligrams, is because I would like to see that same hair growth that I saw in that first go around. Even only being on it for 3 months, I had so many baby hairs coming in, and I haven't noticed much in the way of hair growth on just 25 milligrams, maybe a few extra baby hairs cropping up, but nothing like it was when I was on 50 milligrams the first time around. So that's really what I would like to go up in dosage for, which if you didn't know, spironolactone, the reason it's prescribed for hormonal acne and hair loss in women is because it acts as an androgen blocker. So if you're, I mean, you would need to check with your doctor to find out if this would be a good medication for you, especially for hair loss, because it's not going to work for every type of hair loss. But for me, the hair loss is due to excess androgens. That is a main symptom of PCOS, is having elevated androgens, and spironolactone actually acts as an androgen blocker. So that's how it helps with the hormonal acne and the hormonal hair loss. And as for negative side effects of the spironolactone, I haven't noticed any. So happy with it so far. Curious to see how I will like it going back up to 50 milligrams again. Hopefully the doctor will give me the okay to do that. But I'm really interested to see how that goes. So that's pretty much it for the spironolactone update. As for the tretinoin, so I would say I am currently applying tretinoin about an average of 4 nights a week. I'm not using it every single day because I've found that I really don't need to use tretinoin every single day to maintain results, and alternating days just helps keep the irritation at a minimum. The main side effect that I have noticed with tretinoin is just an increase in sensitivity. Once I introduced tretinoin into my skincare routine, my skin just became a lot more sensitive, not just to tretinoin itself, but just to everything. And I noticed certain products that I used to use, I can't use anymore, like Western chemical sunscreens, really harsh skincare with active ingredients. And I had to really adjust my skincare routine to just the basics, just super gentle products that really focused on hydration. But I'm happy to say that after 2 full years on tretinoin, I have noticed my skin has gotten a lot less sensitive, way less dry and peely than it was in that first year. But I'm not gonna lie, the first like 6 months to a year of tretinoin, I was not enjoying it. Like, I was really not. I was just kind of trying to get past that initial period of time. Now, I was really lucky in that I did not experience the purge that people talk about. Some people, when they start tretinoin, their acne will temporarily get worse before it gets better. Fortunately for me, I did not experience that. Could be because I was also doing spironolactone, and actually I forgot to mention, but short term there in the beginning, I was also on a topical clindamycin, which is a topical antibiotic cream. So I was using 3 different things at once. So it's hard to say if those other things were helping to keep the purge from happening, but fortunately didn't have the purge. What I did have was extremely dry, sensitive, peeling skin for like a year. So it took a while to figure out a good skincare routine, what products my skin could tolerate. A lot of products that I used to use, I couldn't use anymore, and I'll get into my updated skincare routine in just a bit. But also I just think that the longer I've been on tretinoin, the more my skin has adjusted to it, and it's just gotten a lot less sensitive over time. But I'm really happy that I was patient and I stuck with it even though I was not having a good time there in the beginning, because I do feel like the benefits have been worth it. I definitely do notice a difference in my skin, not just in the amount of acne breakouts that I'm getting, and I wouldn't say that I've noticed drastic improvement in the fine lines on my face, but as a whole, I can just tell that tretinoin has been doing good things for my skin, not just with acne, but even with the anti-aging and skin firming benefits. I mean, I wouldn't say I've noticed like drastic benefits in that area. Like, I do still have fine lines. I wouldn't say that the tretinoin has reversed my skin's aging by any means. I am 28 years old, just for context, but you know, I do have fine lines. They're not going anywhere. I mean, you know, you're gonna have to do something more drastic than tretinoin if you want to get rid of your fine lines entirely. But I feel like my skin is just very bouncy. It's very glowy. When I wake up in the morning, especially after a tretinoin night, I just feel like my skin is glowing. It's extra plump, and it just, you know, it's giving my skin that extra oomph that I think it needed. So I'm really happy to have stuck with it. I plan to continue with it long term because, you know, it is one of the most evidence-based skincare ingredients out there, and I'm, you know, looking forward to continuing to see the anti-aging benefits down the road. It's one of those things that you have to keep using for a long time. Even after 2 years, you're not necessarily going to see the benefits, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if I'm still using tretinoin, I'm sure I'll be really happy that I stuck with it. But with that, let me go ahead and share with you my current skincare routine. I think it's even simpler than it was in my last tretinoin update video, and guess what? My skin is happier than ever. I only cleanse my face at night. I don't cleanse in the morning. If I do, I start to notice my skin it gets to that dry, irritated place again. So in the mornings, I'll just rinse my face with water and then dry it off. Once it's completely dried, then I'll go in with moisturizer / sunscreen. These days, I'm just using sunscreen in the mornings, not even using a separate moisturizer, because I feel like my sunscreens are offering enough hydration as it is. But one thing that has changed since my last tretinoin update, because at that time, I think I told you guys I was only able to use mineral sunscreens on my face. I found that chemical sunscreens, specifically Western chemical sunscreens, while I used to be able to use them pre-tretinoin, they were just too irritating for my skin on tretinoin. But since then, I have discovered the wonderful world of Asian sunscreens, and I've been using pretty much exclusively Korean sunscreens ever since I discovered that my skin actually tolerates Korean chemical sunscreens really well. They do use a lot of different filters over there than what we have approved here in the US. And actually just a couple weeks ago, I did a big K-Beauty sunscreen roundup where I reviewed and ranked a bunch of Korean sunscreens that I've tried. I'll just share a handful of my favorites. The one I'm wearing today is the Beauty of Joseon Relief Sun. I'm actually almost done with this one. This is fantastic. My number one recommendation though, especially if you're on tretinoin, because this is great for sensitive skin, the Iunique Centella Calming Daily Sunscreen. This one is so gentle, hydrating, so nice, does not irritate my skin. So this will be my number one recommendation, especially if you're on tretinoin. And it's also one of the most affordable Korean sunscreens that I've found. But another couple of favorites, the Purito Daily Soft Touch Sunscreen is another really great, gentle, hydrating option. And then something that's a little bit less moisturizing, but still has some good hydration to it, is the Skin 1004 Madagascar Centella Hyalucica Water Fit Sun Serum. This is a really great one as well. I would recommend this one, especially if you have oily skin, because it's a little bit lighter weight than the Iunique and the Purito. I would say even a little bit lighter weight than the Beauty of Joseon, but these two are a bit more of like a gel cream, and then these two are a bit more of like a cream. Now, my evening skincare routine is also pretty simple, but it's a little bit more involved than the morning skincare routine. First things first, at night, I always double cleanse. So I start off with a cleansing balm. Right now, the one I'm using is the Paula's Choice Omega Plus Cleansing Balm, and this is fantastic. Really great cleansing balm. It's a little bit more on the pricey side. I also really love the Good Molecules cleansing balm if you're looking for something more affordable. And a long time ago, I really liked the Fourth Ray Beauty BFD cleansing oil, which I haven't had in a while, but I'd recommend that one too if you prefer more of an oil rather than a balm. And this does a great job just removing all of my makeup and sunscreen. It gets my eye makeup off, everything. Does a really great job. So that's the cleansing balm I'm using. And then I go in with my second cleanse, which the cleanser I use has to be a non-foaming cream cleanser. If I use a cleanser that has any lather to it whatsoever, boom, my skin gets stripped and irritated. And this is the one I've been using for the past, basically 2 years since I started tretinoin, the Paula's Choice Skin Recovery Softening Cream Cleanser. They make a big jumbo size, which is what I buy now because I know this is all I use. And even though this doesn't lather up, I do still feel like it does a great job cleansing my skin. It's definitely an effective cleanser. You don't need that foaming action to get a good cleanse. And so this is what I would recommend if you have really dry, sensitive skin. If you're on tretinoin, I have noticed a huge difference. If I stop using this and if I use a more traditional foaming cleanser, immediately my skin gets irritated. So this is a must-have. I'm so loyal to this cleanser at this point. I think this is probably the 4th or 5th bottle of this that I've had. And then after the double cleanse, if it's a tretinoin night, then that is when I'll go in with the tretinoin. I like to wait until my skin is really dry. I don't want to feel any water on my face from washing it, So sometimes I'll go do something else or, brush my teeth or something and then go in with the tretinoin, because I have heard that if you apply any product to wet skin, it can enhance the penetration of that product, but when it comes to tretinoin, that could also mean it enhances the irritation. So I like to just make sure my skin is completely dry before I go in with this. And then if it's not a tretinoin night, Usually I'll just go straight in with moisturizer and facial oil, but sometimes I will use a serum first. I don't feel like a serum is necessary. More often than not, I don't use one at all. If I am using a serum, it's usually going to be something that's really geared towards hydration or just supporting the skin barrier. So one that I really like for that is from iUnique. Again, this is the beta-glucan Power Moisture Serum. I've been using this recently. So beta-glucan, I think, is a humectant, similar to hyaluronic acid, but I'm starting to think I like beta-glucan even more than hyaluronic acid. This feels really nice and hydrating. I feel like my skin just drinks it up, and it feels very plumping to my skin. So if you're looking for a good, just soothing, hydrating serum, I would recommend this one. On occasion, like not very often at all, if I feel like I need a little exfoliation to my skin, I will use the Paula's Choice Calm 1% Sensitive Skin Exfoliant. So this has 1% salicylic acid, very gentle. Like if you have really sensitive skin but you still want to incorporate a BHA, this is fantastic. I just don't feel like my skin needs BHA or exfoliants very often at all anymore, but occasionally I will use this one, and this is the only BHA I will put on my face. So that's a really good one, but I definitely recommend not using this on the same day as Tretinoin. I would alternate for sure, just to minimize irritation. So after that, whether it's a Tretinoin night or not, I go in with my moisturizer. So these are just a couple of the moisturizers I've been using right now. I've been rotating quite a few actually, and I don't necessarily have like a top favorite moisturizer right now. I'm not super picky as long as I feel like it's giving me some good moisture. So this one I'm almost done with. This is the Ole Henriksen Strength Trainer Peptide Boost Moisturizer. This does contain fragrance. I think it's actually the first product that I'm mentioning today that does. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I haven't noticed it irritating my skin, and this is a really nice feeling moisturizer. Very rich, but still has kind of a gel-like texture, even though it does feel really rich and hydrating. So that's just one I'm using right now. I probably wouldn't get it again. Honestly, you know what I think is similar is the e.l.f. Holy Hydration face cream, and that one does come in a fragrance-free version. I love that moisturizer. That's a great budget-friendly option. And then one that I've been really enjoying recently, this is the Versed Recovery Mode Advanced Night Cream. This is really rich, really nice, especially if you have sensitive, dry skin. If you're on Tretinoin, this would be a great moisturizer to check out. I like the packaging because you press this down and it comes out through that hole in the middle. So it's really nice and sanitary. Definitely a heavy emollient cream. If you have super oily skin, you might not like this one. They do recommend it for dry skin specifically. But if you're adjusting to Tretinoin, this would be a great moisturizer to check out because it really is very repairing to the skin. Another moisturizer I love but don't currently have that actually reminds me a lot of this Versed one is the Cocoa Kind Resurrection Polypeptide Cream. Actually, both of those creams are kind of purple in color, but that Cocoa Kind one also very similar texture to this, very rich. It just feels like it's repairing your skin immediately as soon as you put it on. So love that one. And for all of these steps of my skincare routine, I'm not necessarily only recommending the one product that I'm talking about, but for all of these categories, I'll link below a few of my favorites, some of them that I've had in the past and really enjoyed. The only product that I really stick to is the Paula's Choice Cleanser. Everything else I do like to switch up. And then lastly, the facial oil. This has been such a game changer for my skin with Tretinoin. Once I started using this, I really noticed a significant decrease in just the number of days that my skin is super unbearably dry. I almost never have bad dry skin anymore. So yeah, this oil really changed my skin. I love it. And I'm sure that there are other facial oils I would enjoy too, but this one is really nice. So this is the Cocoa Kind Chia Facial Oil. You can see I'm about halfway through it now. I use just 2 drops of this. That's all I need. And I'll mainly focus it like around this region, like the chin, around the mouth, because that's where I tend to notice the most dryness, but then I'll also just take a little bit up to my forehead and just pat it all over the face. And I just feel like it seals in all those other products and really does a great job softening my skin and just keeping dryness at bay. So I have found that really a good moisturizer on its own is good, but this will take it to the next level. Like this is, if I go even a day without this, I notice the difference. Total game changer. Really wish I had tried this sooner. if you're on tretinoin, I can't recommend a facial oil highly enough. And I did not used to believe in facial oils. I used to think they were unnecessary. I didn't really like the feeling of oils on my skin. This one, I mean, it does feel like an oil, you know, because it is, but it's not terribly thick or sticky or anything. I do feel like it sinks into my skin nicely. It's a nice kind of thin oil, so I love this stuff. It's so good. So that's the main skincare. You might be wondering, Sarah, what about your eye cream? So honestly, I don't use eye cream most days. I'll usually just take my moisturizer around the eyes and call it a day. But if I ever do want to use like a proper eye cream, I will use the Versed, the Fix Emergency Eye Mask. I don't even know if they still sell this. I think they do. But this is fine. It's just the one I have, so it's the one I'm using. I don't necessarily feel loyal to this product at all, but it does feel really nice and hydrating around the eye area. I pretty much only use that at night. In the mornings, I put my sunscreen all around my eyes and that's it. And I've also been using a lash serum, which not necessarily skincare related, but I do this at the end of my skincare routine, so I figured I would mention it because I really like this lash serum. This is the Ordinary Multi-Peptide Lash and Brow Serum. $14, way, way less expensive than most other lash serums out there, and I have definitely noticed a difference with this. Even though it doesn't have whatever active ingredient that like Grande Lash has, this is just peptide based. A lot of those lash serums have a possible side effect of causing your eyes to be sunken in, which I don't want that, so I stay away from those and just stick to the peptide-based ones. I really like this one. I also really liked the one from Kosas, but I like this one even better because it doesn't leave like white flakies in my lashes. And I only use this in my lashes, not my brows, because I don't really want my brows to get any like more wiry than they already are. But I definitely do feel like my lashes have gotten longer than they were before. They're thicker than they were before. I feel like I'm not losing as many lashes as I used to, so that's my favorite lash serum. I definitely recommend it. And another absolute must is a good lip balm at night, and this is really the only one that I will truly recommend. Like, there are other lip balms I like, but this is the only one you need. This is the Paula's Choice Lip and Body Treatment Balm. Super bare bones, like very, very basic lip balm. It has no scent. This will heal your lips overnight, like no joke. Whenever my lips are extra dry and chapped, I always make sure to use this one. I have, I like the Lawless Forget the Filler Overnight Lip Mask. I've liked others as well. I like the Kopari Lip Glossy, that one's good too, but nothing beats this. Like, this is just the gold standard, especially in the winter time, but really just all the time. Full price, it's like 15 bucks, but you can always wait for a Paula's Choice sale. They have sales on their site all the time. You can usually get it for around $12, and it comes with a ton of product, so actually really good bang for your buck with this. So anyway, that's my acne update. I plan to continue with the Tretinoin and the Spironolactone, but I'll definitely keep you guys updated. I plan to do, especially if I do go up in dosage with the Spiro, I'll probably do like a 3-month update, maybe a 6-month update, something like that. But so I hope this video helped you if you are on your Tretinoin journey. I would love to hear below how it's going for you, especially if you're in the early stages. I promise it gets better. Just be patient, don't give up, because it will get better. It's not going to, your skin is not going to be red and peeling forever as long as you, take care of it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I do also have a Patreon and a channel membership if you're interested in supporting my channel further. Otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye!